Today we'll be checking out one of the best affordable Flieger watches for 2025. This is a watch that I've wanted to add to my personal collection for about 2 years, and a few months ago, I finally bought one. However, regular viewers of the channel will know there was a bit of a problem when I tried to buy it. Hello there, my name is Kieran, welcome to Top Tier Ticker, I hope you're having a good day. Long story short, I tried to buy this watch from a UK authorised dealer, but something went wrong. However, the brand themselves got in touch and offered to send me one in exchange for a review. Therefore, I do get to keep this watch after the video, but the brand has had no input towards the contents of this review. And the best thing to come out of this whole situation is that Laco now wants to send me watches going forward. So every cloud does indeed have a silver lining. And by the way, the guys over at Laco have been incredibly professional. I was already a big fan, but now even more so. However, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be criticizing this watch today. As usual, we'll have a dedicated flaws section towards the end of the video. And this watch is by no means perfect. So why am I such a big fan of Laco then? Well, Laco is a true heritage watchmaker. They were founded back in 1925 and was one of the original 5 watchmakers that produced Flieger watches for the German military. I'm sure, retrospectively, not the people that you'd want to make watches for. Nonetheless, I'm a big fan of the Flieger design and generally just a nerd when it comes to the Second World War. So in terms of the Flieger, there's realistically only 5 brands that I'd consider. Of course, the original 5. IWC, Stover, Alanger & Zerner, Vemper, and of course, Laco. Of the 5, Laco is the one that comes in at the lowest price point. So you can get a Flieger by a true Flieger manufacturer with the Made in Germany stamp on the dial at an attainable price. Step up the Laco Basic range. This is a selection of watches that delivers the Flieger style with a great spec sheet for less than $500. They have a ton of choice when it comes to models, different dial colours, different case sizes, different strap options, all of which are impressively under that $500 mark. You even get a choice of Type A or Type B with every dial colour, so I really think there is a configuration for everyone here. I've gone back and forth between pretty much every model within this range, but the one I decided to get was the Laco Aachen in 39mm with the blue dial. So why this particular model then? Well, I think the dial design is an absolute masterpiece. It offers unrivaled legibility due to the nature of its creation, but then Laco has added a contemporary twist with the use of this dynamic blue dial finish. The markings here are all classic Type B Flieger, minutes on the outer, hours on the inner. The sword handset perfectly reaches each of the scales, which of course is an important feature of the Flieger. The outer handset is blacked out to really make the hands pop, and the seconds hand also perfectly reaches the large outer minute track. And the lume on this watch is insane, and we'll cover that in just a minute. But then this deep blue sunburst dial adds a splash of colour and personality into an otherwise utilitarian watch. The regular black dial is fine and true to original, but this blue feels more contemporary and is a nice way to add some colour to the collection. I'm not usually a fan of blue dial watches, but this one feels kind of special. But the great legibility doesn't stop when the lights go out. The lume here is simply unbelievable. I rarely say that a watch glows like a nuclear reaction, but this one has earned that label. I'm not sure on exactly how many layers of C3 Superluminova Laco have used here, but it's a lot. The hands, numerals and markings glow like a Christmas tree. Seriously, 10 out of 10 for lume on this watch. Up there with the very best I've ever experienced. The flat sapphire does stick out slightly from the bezel, and it does fill the majority of the case here, which does make the watch appear larger on wrist than the case diameter might suggest. There is no anti-reflective treatment on this watch, which isn't too much of an issue because the reflections aren't exactly bad here, but Laco does offer a crystal with AR for an extra €50 if you really want to spec out this watch to the max. But I'm glad Laco stayed true to the original with the use of a large onion style crown. It is only push-pull, so this watch only has 50 meters of water resistance, just about enough for an everyday driver. The crown is extremely easy to grip, and I just think it looks beautiful. Not to mention, this is a signature of the Flieger. But contrasting that somewhat flashy dial finish is this case. The silhouette here is basic with flat case sides and a compact design. The watch features a full bead blasted finish, offering a matte look similar to titanium, but this watch is indeed made from 316L stainless steel. There's nothing fancy or even interesting about this case to really mention. All of the focus really is on that dial, as it should be. I will mention that this case design isn't quintessential Flieger, it's more of a modern sporty case, which I personally see as a good thing, a bit of a hybrid if you will. It's also not traditional for a Flieger to come on a bracelet. Again, this is quite a sporty 3-link oyster style bracelet, however I think the bracelet and case here do work really well together. The watch does feature positive end links, so you get that nice flow between each part, albeit it does extend the lug to lug slightly. It features the same bead blasted finish as the case, and overall makes the watch look incredibly utilitarian. However, there is a strap option for this watch that is much more traditional. It features a distressed finish with metal pins where it meets the lugs, a feature found on the original straps of a Flieger, albeit these are just faux rivets. The strap is handmade in Germany and the quality here is super high, but either strap option is super comfortable. Case diameter here is 39mm, the lug to lug, not including those end links, is 46.5mm, and the case thickness is 11.5mm. Including those fixed end links, the lug to lug does extend to 51mm, but in actuality it wears much smaller than that because they shoot straight down. And when it comes to the leather, it wears even better. The watch hugs the wrist beautifully with zero gaps. Of course, the original Flieger was much larger than this. They usually had a 55mm case diameter. However, those were often worn on the outside of a flight suit, so shrinking these down to fit on an actual wrist is a good thing. And if this one is too small, then consider the 42mm version, which is also available in this Type B blue dial configuration. Another area that has been somewhat modernized is the choice of movement. There are a couple of quartz options in the Laco Basic range, but the majority are automatic. All models come with the Miyota 82S5 as standard, or for an additional cost you can upgrade to the Miyota 8315, which comes with blued screws and a higher power reserve. The standard 82S5 features some decent finishing, has a 42-hour power reserve and ticks 6 times per second. Also, this is a true no-date movement, so there's no ghost date position here. However, the optional upgrade of the 8315 does feature a ghost date position, so factor this into your consideration. I think the standard option is the way to go so that you can avoid that ghost date. Now, these are entry-level movements, but this is Laco's entry-level watch, and the Miyota is a serious workhorse that has a great reputation for longevity. These movements can often be rather noisy due to the rotor only winding in one direction, but the size and weight of the steel case here does a great job at absorbing all of that rotor wobble. But not everything is perfect here. Again, this is Laco's entry-level option. The finish into the bracelet has begun to show wear already, especially around the joints. I suspect that might be because of a finish over the steel, although the case is still flawless. The fold over lock on the clasp doesn't sit tight, so it does rattle around quite a lot, which you can hear throughout the day, and it is super annoying. I'm not a big fan of the 18mm lug width on this watch. I'd 100% preferred this to be a 20. I feel like it would have offered better balance with the large dial, and I'd love to see them upgrade the basic range to the Miyota 9000 series. I think they could even charge an extra $100 and people would still be happy. The watch would then be thinner and have a smoother sweep. But I genuinely think this is a gem of a watch, hence why I bought one with my own money in the first place. Being able to get a Flieger, buy one of the original 5, with the made in Germany stamp on the dial, for less than $500 is incredible. You get the design, the name, and the spec sheet for 1/10 the cost of an IWC. And that is exactly why I love affordable watches. There's a link to the Laco Basic range below. There's tons of options that I haven't even shown in this video. I'm sure you'll find one that you'll like. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Bye for now.